Andy, when we talk about landing page in e-commerce, what do we actually mean?
I mean, a landing page is a catch-all term. Any page can be a landing page.
Even a product page?
You click on a link, you land on a page. It's where you land.
Yep.
When people talk about landing pages, what we actually mean is a bespoke page focused on one core outcome and one core objective for a user. Product pages, websites don't do that. There's way too many distractions. You click on a product page, you could get a prompt for 10% if you sign up for our email address. You'll see all the navigation for these different categories. You might see login, your basket. You might see a different pop-up come up about a different product, or you go to move away. Are you leaving now? There's so many different distractions that stop you from and take you away from doing what the brand actually want you to do. That's why websites aren't actually a good place to send their users to. Product pages don't work as well as they could do. So that's where landing pages come in.
Okay. So why is it that most e-com companies are still using product pages to send paid traffic to?
It's what they've always done. We send traffic to our product pages. We have a product to sell. That is where people buy it. So that's where we'll send them to. So I think that's one of the reasons. Other reasons can be they want to, but they don't know how to get started. We don't have a template that would work for that. So we have to use this template within our CMS. You don't. It might be we can't get resource or budget. So they just default back to what they've always done, which is send people to the product page.
Are e-com managers being lazy by not looking at them and just using product pages?
Potentially, yeah. Potentially. They should be, but it comes down to how busy they can be as well. We know e-com managers are very busy. So if I need to get a campaign out, and I need to launch it now because we've got a sale on or promotion, or we just need to drive some sales at the minute, do I want to hold that campaign back and build a bespoke page? Or do I just want to get it live? I've got the ad creative and I can send someone to that now and get some sales.
So there might be a barrier to entry in terms of people getting them live that is holding people back.
Yeah, definitely.
Cool. Okay. And when brands are relying purely on product pages, what are the biggest issues that are caused by that, particularly when you're talking about kind of sending paid traffic there, whether that's through Google or through Meta?
Mm-hmm. People have different levels of knowledge when they come to you. So I may know you as a brand. I may know the problem that I'm trying to solve, and that's why I've clicked on a specific advert to do that. I may not know who you are. I may not know what problem you solve for me. A Meta ad has sparked some interest in me. So if I have bought from you previously, I know the brand, I know the experience, but I'm looking at trying a new product that you may have launched, I have a different level of understanding to someone who has never heard of this brand before, sparked a little bit of interest about what this problem you've talked to me about your product solves. I need to learn more. Product pages, as people tend to use them, are very functional. So they will tell you, give you the information to make it possible for you to buy. But they don't take someone from a cold point of view to be able to educate you about the problem that's being solved and why this product is perfect for you with that. And they don't really tell you who the brand is and why they are the ones to solve that problem for you as well. So product pages then become this catch-all for all different types of traffic when different types of traffic have different needs.
And that's a really, really good point there. When we're talking about paid traffic, even just segmenting that aspect of it, is you've got different routes to come through. You've got Meta, you've got my display channels, you might have TikTok, and then you've got Google as well. All different intent, they all need different things. Now, a website, when you've got a product page, is designed to do lots of different things. So is a product page more designed for organic traffic than it is for paid traffic?
Technically, I would say yes. So if you look at from an organic point of view, you'll have your headers, your titles. You switch those to go for a specific angle, you might see your rankings drop on your core terms. So that's a big no-no, and that's something you really need to consider with, should I send traffic to my product page, or should I make changes to my product page to target a specific type of user? If you do that, you're then going to see you might have 5 different types of avatars of people who buy from you. So they have 5 different reasons. So then if I target one of them, I might be excluding the other 4. Or if you then look at it from an organic point of view, that's not really what people search for. I don't search saying I'm this specific type of person. You just don't go to that level of detail. You will search for a functional keyword. That's where your product page can have a better opportunity to rank than if you use the landing page.
And what's the difference between the intent between paid and organic, and how does that affect the effectiveness of a product page?
Yeah, well, organic, you will tend to see more informational searches. That's just, especially if I'm looking from a Google point of view here. And that's because if you have a transactional term, you would expect to see heavy paid activity on there, whether that's shopping, whether that's 4-pack of search listings at the top. It's very busy.
Yeah.
And then you might get down to the organic listings, but there is more competition to win that click for an organic search than there is if it's an informational search where there's no paid activity.
Yeah. Remy, go on. Now that all makes sense. And what is it that makes a landing page, a dedicated landing page, convert better than a product page?
Well, before you do that, you take it back to what you look at this and you go, if I want to sell a product to someone, I want to give them my best salesperson. And your product pages tend to not be that. Your product pages are your lazy shop assistant. They don't look at you and go, how's this product going to benefit you? They don't look at and go tell you why the product exists. They don't give you the story behind why the product was created and why the brand exists as well. And how ultimately, how this is going to solve the pain point that you as a customer have. What they actually do is they will go, there's the product. It's your lazy shop assistant. They're the people who you go into the shop and go, product's there. Do you want to buy it? If you don't, fine. Here's a couple of features about it I'll tell you about. What a landing page does, it's your best salesperson. It tells you what the product is. It gives you clear pain points, a specific pain point that you've got. It understands who you are as a customer, where you are, how you've got to us. We know that because we choose the specific landing page we send you to. And it then gives you a story and a narrative about how it solves the problem you've got and gives you that really compelling reason about why you should buy. And ultimately, it takes all those questions away. It makes it then a no-brainer of, it's not, I'd like this product, or it could help me, it's, I've got to have this product.
You talk about narrative there, and you've made it really clear that the narrative and controlling the narrative based on where the traffic comes from is quite important. But is there a difference between the narrative you want to tell a new customer, someone new to the brand, versus someone who's returning to the brand from previously seeing an ad, visiting the traffic, or even a past purchaser?
100%. I break it down to a matrix of, does the consumer, do they understand the problem? Yes or no? Do they understand, or do they know the brand? Yes or no? And you look at that and map this across different types of traffic. So let's say someone coming from a cold audience from a meta ad, they've seen an advert, that's quite interesting, I'll click on it, find out a bit more information. You send them to your product page, they're not ready to buy. They need education about what this problem is first, and why it's an issue and how you can solve it. And you need to then introduce the brand to them and why you exist and why you are the people to solve that problem. If you are an existing customer, so let's say you bought a product from me before, I've then sent you an email about a different product that we have. I know the brand, I don't need you to educate me about the brand, but I may not know too much about that specific problem, so then I need educated about the problem that's being solved by this new product. Or it could be a complementary product to one I bought from you previously. So I also know the problem that is solved. So I just need to understand how this product then solves that problem. So you need to adapt the content and the story that you give to different people based on the traffic source and what we know about that customer.
Okay, that sounds quite complicated when you want to kind of apply it across a site. If you've got thousands of SKUs, for example, that sounds quite a hard thing to be able to do. So what's the benefit of doing targeted landing pages versus iterative A/B testing that affects the site as a whole?
Because you're not speaking to one type of person all the time. If you've got one type of customer, your product page will be fine. If you've got 5 different types of customers, you can't talk to them all at the same time. Or if you do, you're not going to give them a compelling reason to then buy. You're trying to catch everyone you're never actually educating all of them specifically about the deep need and the deep solution that you have for that type of person.
Yeah. All right, cool. And when we talk about landing pages and A/B testing as well, is that they go pretty hand in hand, don't they? Now, what's the benefit of doing that iteratively, and almost as rapid as you can to see the impact on the site? What's that going to do for an e-com site? What's that going to do for the e-com manager?
In terms of the content you're testing on your product pages, you're going to see, you hopefully will see improvements in terms of your performance of changing specific elements. So it might be I change the headline to be more specific to a pain point. It might be I got more reviews or increased the prominence of reviews, and did that keep the attention, or did that change get more people to take the action that I wanted to do? If it did, you're moving more people further down that sales funnel to the end point that you want them to get.
So you wouldn't always use pure sales as the metric to optimize towards?
Not at all, because if you have a cold customer, they're probably not ready to buy straight away. So they need educated, and you're looking there to get them to take an action, which might be to add to cart. But they might add to cart, then they're probably going to go away and still do a bit of research. But you've moved them into a different audience that you can then retarget them separately, knowing that they are, again, further down that purchase journey.
That's really interesting, because I think a lot of people in marketing in general, particularly in e-com, it's always about how can we generate more sales, and ultimately that is the end goal. And I think a lot of the conversation in the industry at the moment is about how people take multiple journeys. It's, Google's research about the messy middle shows that there's a lot of actions that people take before buying. What you're talking about there is, 100% create landing pages, A/B tests to drive more sales, but also, do that to be able to drive the actions that then allow you to get involved in more of their journeys. So, for example, get people to add to cart, then you can retarget them through those, or you can hit add to cart emails that Shopify allow you to do. Lots of different ways that you can kind of retarget and re-engage with them once you know they've taken that step.
Yeah, it's, in an ideal world, people are one-click purchase. It's not that simple. It's now, there are more brands, there's lower barriers to entry for brands to come to market. So there are more options and more ways people are finding brands as well. So it's not as simple as, if I get you to a website, you will buy next time. So we need to look at these different data points that we've got, and ultimately marketing and sales is about creating warmer connections with people, and the warmer audiences buy better from you. So rather than just trying to force people through and get them to buy straight away, you would much rather have a higher proportion of people in a warmer audience that you can then get to buy, and then not only buy, they'll spend more.
Perfect. And what's some real world examples of you kind of shifting to landing pages from product pages that you can tell us about?
Yeah, a great example for that would be the Great Holiday Home Show. So they were an event where they sell tickets to their holiday home show. Quite self-explanatory. And the obvious way, the way you bought the tickets was you would go to the ticketing platform. Now, very simple, go to the ticketing platform, add to your cart, buy the product page. What we did was we looked at it and said, you need to actually tell people about this event, because yes, they can see your advert, they might watch a 10-second advert, a 20-second advert. But then from there to send them to a page which is literally, here's how you buy, they don't know enough about the event just from the creative that they've seen. It sparked an interest. Is that enough to get them to buy? What we did was we tested, send 50% of traffic to the ticketing platform, 50% of people we sent to a real long form landing page, which had a specific angle about the event, told people what was happening there, told them why they should attend, the benefits they would get out of it, frequently asked questions about the event, where it was, how do you park, what food's on, this, that, the other. That converted at a conversion was 109% higher. The cost per acquisition was, I think, about 50% lower. So all that did is gave us a much more valuable use of their media spend. So,
but in that example, you actually put an extra click in the user journey, didn't you? Because this is something I hear all the time, which is make it as easy as possible for people to be able to purchase, and that's going to increase your conversion rate. And people often refer that to as the fewer clicks, the better the conversion rate, but you actually inserted an extra page and therefore at least a minimum of one extra click for people to be able to do it, but it still increased conversion rate.
It did. We introduced a friction point. We made people have a longer journey. The hypothesis we had behind this was, if we add an extra step into the journey and add a friction point, we will have more educated people who will know why they should come to the event. That's what we did. And again, we could see from the data, people engage with the content. This landing page had about 10 different sections in it. One of the most engaged sections was the FAQs right at the bottom of the page. So we saw that people would go through it and would engage with the content, would take on board what we were saying, and then took the action that we wanted them to do. So
and we could see that because we measured it with heat maps, didn't we?
Heat maps, click maps, yep. We user recordings. And from all of this, it just allowed us to see that there is good friction. Not all friction is bad, because if you try and get people to convert too quick, they don't know why they should buy. You introduce that friction point, but that friction point really educates people. It makes it so much easier for them and gives them more reason to buy.
Okay, cool. And so lots of benefits here. What's the biggest misconception you think e-com managers have about product pages when they're applying them to the stores?
That everyone knows why they should buy. So for me, it would be, you need to look at your angles around this. Just because someone's landed on a product page, it doesn't mean they're ready to buy. People have different levels of intent. People have different levels of knowledge and readiness to buy. And your job with where you send someone to is to make it easier for someone to buy and make it more compelling and give them more of a reason to buy from you. And a lot of the times, product pages, whilst it sounds counterintuitive, they don't do the best job of that.
I'm going to wrap up shortly, but the recent announcement around Andromeda and Meta, now that's very much focused on creative. But what's the impact that will have on landing pages and where you actually send that traffic to?
So whilst it's about creative essentially and serving creative people, what you need to do with that is serve different varieties of creative, different angles of creative. And then if you're trying different angles of creative, you're going to be going potentially colder into audiences that need more education.
And when you say different angles, what do you mean different angles? Could you give a few examples?
It could be, you might give someone a problem. So here's the problem this product solves. You could be talking to someone about, here's the benefits that you'll get from this product instead. So it's taking the same solution essentially and just flipping how you talk to people about it. And from there, what you'll find is, if I have a problem solution ad, but then I have an ad of a different type, they need sent to a different page because someone's clicked on that ad for a different reason. But if you land them back on the product page or the same landing page, there's a disconnect. You need to continue the message that they've seen from the advert and talk to them about, that's what sparked their interest.
Yeah.
So your next step should be to give the follow through of how you have the solution for what you've got their interest from.
Yeah, so I suppose you could talk about, and we're coming up to Black Friday, so there's a real good example here is Black Friday drives a lot of urgency. So there's a lot of ads that go out about urgency. If you talk about kind of say the homewares industry is you want to get your sofa in before Christmas. So it talks very much about kind of the Christmas delivery time, very urgent kind of driven messaging. Now, if you send them to a product page that talks about the quality, or a landing page that talks about the quality of the sofa, there's a disconnect between that journey. That's what you're talking about, isn't it?
Yeah.
Whereas if you send them to a landing page that talks about delivery date before Christmas and all the benefits that come from there, there's a congruence between that journey for that users can take.
Yeah, you could send them to a page which shows you, introduce them to your different collections that you've got, has a countdown timer on there of days, hours till you cut off for your delivery dates to then, keep that urgency going. Whereas if you send them to a page which is about the quality of the product, you've lost that urgency. They've clicked on that ad because of an element of urgency. That's the emotion that you've tied into. But then if you then give them a message which is completely different, you lose that.
Cool. So what do you think the biggest mistakes marketers and e-com managers are making at the moment when it comes to optimizing product pages?
For me, it would be around the hero section because that's where you're going to get 100% of people's attention. And how do you give them a reason to want to look at the rest of your content? If you've literally just got generic product title, generic product image, nothing, a few features, there's no reason for me to personally buy. There's no reason for me to go further down your content and find out more about that product. So you need to use that section and work it harder.
I love that, because I think there's been a big behavioural change in users over the last 10 to 15 years. Like when I first got in the industry, it was all about above the fold content. Put whatever you need there to be able to make people buy. Whereas because of social media, because of TikTok and Facebook, there's a natural behaviour that people take, which is that they're happy to scroll. If they don't have the right information there, they're happy to scroll as long as there is a reason to scroll. And what you're saying there is make sure the information there is compelling enough to keep them on the page so that either they can buy or they want to find out more.
Yeah, it's a way for you to start that narrative. So one of the really underused bits is the product image section that you'll see above the fold. A lot of people will stick 1, maybe 2 or 3 product images in there. Click through it, nice. Okay, that's nice. What you can do is you can actually use, how can I make that sell better for me? How can I make that capture your attention better for me? Because again, you go back to your heat mapping and your click mapping, what we see is a lot of engagement on those product carousels essentially. Okay, stick a product image in there, great. What else can we do? Have some call outs on there. Utilize some of the information and the styles of what you use in your ads as well to get people there in the first place.
Yeah.
Okay, USP call outs, benefit call outs. You might have a product image of your product with a review from a customer. You might have a real specific USP. Okay, let's on your carousel, let's really talk about that. So using this information to kind of prime people before they go further down the rest of the page and they go, I want to find out more about this. And you make sure you continue that message that you've got through there in those images further down your page.
Yeah, it's just transferring some of the angles and images and creative that you're using to attract them in the first place through your ads on Facebook, TikTok, and just applying that to the site. My biggest example of this was probably about 10 years ago now. So it's when GIFs were only just starting to really be used across marketing as well. Is we had a client that sold a furniture product. I won't name them, I'll try not to describe them too much, but essentially it grew with kids, right? And it went through and it changed, the way the product was laid out changed as the kids grew up. And they had lots of images to show the different stages, right? But it required the user to go in and cycle through that carousel of image on the product page like you described. We just created a GIF. It was a 2-second GIF that just showed them the product going from one stage into the next stage, into the next stage. We A/B tested that on the site and it increased conversion rate by about 90%. Right? And that's exactly what we're talking about, isn't it?
Yeah, and I know the product you're talking about. I've got it at home. It's not cheap. What that does is that gets you past that price objection.
Yep.
Of hang on, it's an expensive product, a couple £100. Okay, but this could be used for the next 5-10 years. Well, cost per use, fantastic. It's not just this is going to be a 6-12 month product. This is a 5-10 year product for me, and I can actually see how my child will use this for the foreseeable future.
Yeah. And so if we were to finish then, what's one bit of advice you'd give to e-com managers to improve conversion rates, either on the landing pages or on the product pages?
It's actually to get out of your product page, get out of your landing page. And it's to not create these for what you believe to be right. Speak to your customers. They are the people who have bought your product. It's people like them who are going to buy your product in the future. Find out what they actually want. Find out the reasons why they bought from you. Find out the impact that your product has had on them. And then you use that to create the angles and the content that you will stick on your landing page, on your product page, because it's interchangeable, and use that to then actually show people that compelling reason for why I should buy your product.
Cool. Sweet. Thanks so much, Andy.